Hello, 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 and welcome back to Fair Fight, North Carolina. I'm your host, Bobby Jones, along with the great Scott Peoples. Scott, let's get straight to it. Saw an article that you forwarded to me the other day that really blows my mind. When we talk about fair fight and the fair right to vote, the access to the ballot, I think this article encapsulates what is happening specifically on the GOP side of the North Carolina voting process um, to kind of curtail that. Can you explain the power grab that's happening right now in your state?
Yeah, Bobby, I would be happy to. So on our last video, we kind of, introduced to our audience, what happened by the state board of elections switching over from the governor's office to the state auditor's offices, which is now in Republican control after 125 years of the governor having that power. So this article shows now that the GOP has that power, what they potentially are planning to do with it and how it could affect voting rights and the voting process and just the undermining of democracy. So basically, a bill put forth by the Republican-led state house, just passed through some committees and either later in July or August should get a vote on the House, which I fully expect the Republican-led legislator to pass. Um, would take the nonpartisan state board of elections office, which is now run by Sam Hayes, who, as we spoke about, previous job was the general counsel to the Speaker of the House for the Republican side. So obviously a political operative, not a nonpartisan fellow. And they would take up to close to 40% of the current state board of elections office, people that are civil servants that have served under both Democrat and Republican executive directors for the State Board of Elections, and they would go ahead and fire up to about 40% of them so they could replace them with Republican political appointees that will just do whatever they say and make whatever rules they want to make for the state voting process in North Carolina. And of course, they come out in their sneaky way and just say, we're just looking at doing a reorganization of the Board of Elections to fit our new way of thinking, and there's nothing to see here, and we're going to go about it in a nonpartisan way, and everyone should trust us. But yeah, so first of all, these up to 40% of people that have done a fantastic job working on, like I said, under multiple administrations. The North Carolina State Board of Elections won some national awards after the last election because after Hurricane Helene, there was so much they had to do to get people their right to vote in the western part of North Carolina up in the mountains, which is heavily GOP. So these are people that, yes, it was a Democratic appointed director. They did everything in their power to make sure Republican voters had the power to vote in the 2024 election, which elected Donald Trump. So it's never been about what they've done. It's always just about been the GOP wanting full control over this office, which is supposed to be nonpartisan. And they come out always and say, we're the ones that are going to make voting have more integrity and get the trust of the public. But everything they're doing is the exact opposite and kind of spits in the face of the democratic process. So this is just one bill that I expect. There's other bills, coming that are going to reduce early voting from 17 days to 6 days. So we'll continue to keep an eye on all these. And then there's one other provision in the bill I wanted to point out that just encapsulates it perfectly. This bill wants to make it kind of illegal for anyone that works for the state board of elections to go out and promote voter turnout. So not even just go vote for Republicans or vote for Democrats, but go out and make an ad or anything saying everyone in state North Carolina go vote who you want to vote for, just because it's just part of their plan to want to suppress enthusiasm of the vote, suppress the vote in general, so that they feel gives the Republicans an edge, which says everything you want about their party. The less people that vote, better chance they have to win, or that's how they feel. So it's just incumbent on people like us and everyone to keep getting the message out, get the word out that upcoming, and people are going to have to go out and flood the voting lines because they're going to do everything in their power to keep us from it.
Scott, it's amazing. It's if you know anything about the state of North Carolina and its voting history, history is starting to repeat itself. The thing that blows my mind is if the ideas that the GOP were producing were seen as favorable, they wouldn't have to do this. They could just compete for the vote fairly, which is what anybody should want in a democratic society. Look, we're going to continue to follow this because it seems like every other week something else is popping up in North Carolina where they're trying to tilt the scales to one party instead of the fair play of ideas in the political sphere. So Scott and I will keep you posted. Continue to tune in, and good luck out there.